6 o'clock. Call this meeting to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We had an executive session before this, and we discussed personnel and legal. Okay. Executives, public comments. First of all, I would like to thank Ms. Meckling last week for, it's very easy to second guess people. You did what was right. You went and talked to the person, you looked, and you come back and said, I changed my mind. So thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that. Okay. Anybody, public comments? Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
Ron Trasna, DuBois, Pennsylvania. I'm just wanted to comment here about on number 11, the new business. I just hope the council is looking into the fact too is if you do terminate him, is he eligible to start receiving his pension at that time? And I just want to make sure that you're very concerned on that, because that was one of the big issues when that was brought up the last time, that basically it was my understanding that if he was terminated, he could actually file for his pension. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that fact.
Okay, thanks, Ron.
Yeah, and can I say one more thing?
Okay.
I just want to say, I'm part of the Downtown DuBois Association, and I just want to say it's a good group of people here, and we really need to support the council and everyone going forward this, so we can establish certain things and set certain activities in the city of DuBois, and we really need your help and support.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Is it, Debbie Meckling, DuBois, is it proper for me to respond on what you just said to me?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I just want to say I did enjoy the opportunity going in and checking it out. I do wish the process of picking who bought it would be a little bit different. I would have liked to have seen, from what I understand, there were 4 people that were interested in that property. I would have liked to have seen what each of the proposals were, and then to have based it, who got it, as to what they were going to do with the building and how long it was going to take them to do it to the building. So just because
I will answer that at the end of this meeting.
Okay. And then I have another statement, and it's in reference to number 11 on the agenda. And Spotlight PA, an investigative group who put together a panel on January 25th, 2024 by Zoom meeting to discuss the corruption case involving our former city manager. Min Jin and Angela Columbus are the reporters who've been following our story, and they were on the panel and acted as host. During the discussion, one of the items mentioned was the dollar amount of the bonuses paid out by our former manager from the years 2014 to 2022. These bonuses were paid out to key staffers, which included city manager, chief of police, finance director, deputy treasurer, city engineer, and redevelopment director. The amount spent on bonuses from the years 2014 to 2022 was $561,000. I know most of council were not seated when this happened. Since new council has taken their oaths of office, I do wonder if this figure is accurate. I'm hoping there are avenues that we will be able to utilize to recoup some of these monies. And is that possible, to recoup some of it from the money that is owed the former city manager? And I would also like to thank Councilwoman Jennifer Jackson for sitting in on the panel and explaining the structure of our city management that enabled this perfect storm to happen to our city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, let's move on. Approval of minutes from March 4th.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the council minutes, March 4th, 2024.
Second.
Properly moved second. Any question on the motion? Vote on the motion.
Gelfen.
Yes.
Dietz.
Yes.
Augenbaum.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Reesinger.
Yes. Registry of invoices, auto draft.
Motion to approve.
Good.
Motion to approve the auto draft in this amount of $43,713.48.
Second?
Properly moved second. Any question on the motion? Vote on the motion.
Gelfen.
Yes.
Dietz.
Yes.
Augenbaum.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Reesinger.
Yes. General fund.
I make a motion, we pay the general fund $305,273.53.
Second.
Properly moved second. Question on the motion?
I have one.
Mhm.
Okay, so ours is actually going back to the last meeting. I made a copy for everybody. This is for council. We didn't pay Mr. Brett, we didn't sign Mr. Brett's check. I'll pass it on. Because we had a question on the bills. I know you get the register and it's available online, but the detailed bill, we were a little confused on. I'm just gonna pass this out. If gentlemen squeeze it down.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Here you go. So what this is this was the council meeting, and then the second one, here, Mr. Brett. Pat, do you have one? Because I know you asked me. I didn't. Mine didn't. Okay.
I can watch this.
No, I think I made that for both of you. Okay. So, we had a question on the bills because I know the public doesn't see the detailed bills. And we were curious about like what is under special, let me see here. Special projects. So, of course, special projects would be like the merger but we're confused because we're not in your meetings. So the bill is a little confusing, and I know you asked about it, Mr. Reesinger, prior to this. But we just wanted to be clarified on like how the billing's going because if you read through, there's special projects, and we just want to know what we're getting for $3,200. Was it the controller line? We just want to. Your bill was like $3,200, and it just says. I don't know. I thought some of these were under like the $3,200. Like what is the?
What's in the monthly stipend? What all is included that would be under that?
Dave,
In that amount.
if you look at the engagement letter we sent the city, which I don't think you have in here.
No, I just have the January 2nd meeting at 11 a.m.
Well, there's an engagement letter with the city that clearly defines what is covered by the day-to-day, plus there are separate engagement letters that cover, for example.
I gave you all those.
Yeah, I think I did have those. Yeah.
I definitely gave you all three of them.
So
I know.
for example, there's a separate engagement letter that covers the first invoice that you have on your documentation appears to be Sandy Township. And I say appears because there's some sticky stuff that covers up some of the information. But the first invoice was by Josh Brown. Prepare for Sandy Township consolidation hearing. Travel to DuBois and attend Sandy Township hearing. He put hearing. I'm assuming that means the joint committee meeting. There's a separate engagement letter for services related to the Sandy Township merger, which is outside the scope of the general solicitor services. There should be, looks like the second one also deals with Sandy Township and the bank. Some of the entries with respect to our efforts to try to obtain the bank records either fall under Sandy Township consolidation
Okay.
in that engagement letter, or it falls under the former city manager / Ms. Schaefer, Mr. Plazio Schaefer. matter, and there's a separate engagement letter pertaining to that. And then you'll see the 3,200 invoice, which is the standard solicitor services, our monthly solicitor services.
Yep.
And there are costs, traditionally the costs associated with any of the work we do for the city get billed on the solicitor retainer, the 3,200 a month. And then the last one,
There were just three.
or just three?
Yep.
Okay. So I think the three matters that there's the engagement letter with respect to the day-to-day solicitor services, which are $3,200 a month. There is an engagement letter for the Sandy Township consolidation, which I think that was the resolution, part of the resolution that was passed last week, last month. There's the Splasio Schaefer matter has a separate engagement letter, and I think there's a separate engagement letter for the chief of police matter.
So those all fall under special.
They're all billed separately.
Yeah.
They fall outside the scope.
And the agreement is anything that falls outside the normal solicitor, he gives us a letter and usually gives us an estimated cost.
Because we're not in your executive session, so some of them said discussion under, so should you
Sure. Those are all just.
be? You don't
just-
need to speak out. This is being run. Pat, you get control, please.
Just,
Sure.
I mean, this is serious. There's an $8,000 bill for just January.
just for the public's information, all of those things are discussed with council in advance of us issuing an engagement letter. So,
I would like to say that, you know, this is why we're here. We're here to discuss this, and you want me to go review these, but then if we review them, it's the right thing to do with all of you. I just think you need to see that, because you don't see the detailed list. You only see the printed out version of it, and it's for all of you to get online and look at our bills. We appreciate that. We know that you don't see the detailed bills. So
I did ask for the detailed.
I know you did. I know you
well,
did.
and I would encourage, to the extent the council does not receive the detailed invoices for each month, you should receive them, you should review them, not just the total amounts. I don't have a problem if you want to post those publicly for the public to see them without asking for them. I'm more than happy to answer any questions privately before a meeting or publicly at a meeting regarding any of the items that are on the bill. So,
I didn't see anything in question because I knew all the extra stuff.
Okay, well, I did not see you or talk to you, and
Right.
I will bring it up in front of council, so.
Well, that's fine. There, you can call me. I'll talk to anybody. Okay, I'll call the office, call the city building. They'll give me your number. I'll call you back. I called somebody back today. So if you have any questions about any of the bills, call us. It's your money. You have a right to know what you spend it on. Okay. Vote on the motion.
Gelfand,
Yes.
Dietz,
Yes.
Augenbaum,
yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Reesinger.
Yes. Shirley, downtown DuBois.
Yes, hello, Shirley DeRouge, Executive Director, Downtown DuBois. Mayor, Council, I'm here today on behalf of Downtown DuBois. As you have received a packet of information to discuss reinstating our funding with the city for the sustainability of the Downtown DuBois Incorporated organization. With me today, I do have members of our board. I also have Bill Arrowwood with the PDC, the Pennsylvania Downtown Center. Unfortunately, Christy Martone with DCED was unable to attend, but she wanted me to extend to you that DCED supports and recommends the funding support to downtown organizations. I do know that there's been questions that have come up, and so I am going to let Bill take over to answer and to address any questions about the program and what all it entails.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Thank you, Shirley. My name is Bill Arrow. I'm with the Pennsylvania Downtown Center. There was some question. I have a couple of copies of these, and there are more copies available that Shirley can email to you guys. I only printed a handful, but just want to make sure you guys got copies to sort of peruse right now. The Pennsylvania Downtown Center is the state we're not the governing body, but we're sort of the larger network body of all of the main streets and downtown communities across the entire Commonwealth. We're a network of over 100 different communities from all over the neighborhoods, all ranging in size from about 500 to about 50,000. We have downtown communities all across the state. We're a member-based nonprofit. We are not the state of Pennsylvania. We're not the Department of Community Development. We're a member-based nonprofit that helps people through the Main Street approach and help people do redevelopment in their own towns. It is our job primarily to help people make your downtown the downtown that you want it to be. We're never going to come in and tell you what you should do, but we're here to provide resources and opportunities and provide training to get you guys where you want to be for that. I was engaged by Downtown DuBois last fall to come do a strategic session with them, sort of get them back on the path of where they want to be. We see that them as an organization that is rediscovering itself and getting its legs back under it and really advancing it in a progressive way in a much faster way than we usually see in a lot of communities. There was some question that was asked about why a municipality would support an organization like this, and are there others that do? In the paperwork I've just presented to you, in addition to my letter, there are 9 other municipalities that I reached out to this morning and sent me back letters saying this is why we do it. Telling them, I'm going to DuBois today. Please tell us why Main Street is important to your town. With your permission, I'd like to read a couple of them for public record, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mayor Mike Lombardo, the mayor of Pittston, Pennsylvania, also the chairman of the Pennsylvania Municipal League. Mayor Lombardo writes, Main Street represents the front door to your community and is a reflection of the community's values. Main Street real estate offers the highest returns and growth, and Main Street represents opportunities to support neighborhood investments and ease the burden placed on taxpayers. The city of Pittston has been able to grow its Main Street program and harness its growth to improve our neighborhoods and control taxes. We have gone 15 years with no property tax increase because of the work of the Main Street program they have there. Easton, Pennsylvania, Mayor Salvatore Panto. Easton's Main Street program has been identified as one of the best in Pennsylvania for more than a decade. It is incredibly well managed, community directed, and always business focused. The technical support and consultative work it provides to assist our downtown businesses is exemplary. Its creation and city revitalization of our downtown and its creation in the city revitalized our downtown and has been one of the primary reasons it has continued to thrive. I'll finish with one more. There are 9 more, and I won't read them all because in the interest of time, but these are for you guys to have, and I will provide a copy for you as well. Lewisburg, right down the hill. Lewisburg is a small borough and a rural community with low to moderate income census tracts. This means we don't have the resources to staff community and economic development in traditional ways. Our support of the Lewisburg Downtown Partnership and Lewisburg Neighborhoods, our Main Street and Elm Street organizations, respectively, exponentially return our investment with their work. I can proudly say that our collaborative efforts have resulted in a stronger and more resilient community. There are more examples in your packet that I'm happy to have you guys read at your discretion. Yes, sir.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you have the amounts at those communities?
Some of them do, and I'm more than happy to provide those to you. There's a full
Could
range.
you please?
Yeah, there's a full range of amounts, and it really varies based on what the city can provide and what the return is. I have some cities where the Main Street is actually embedded as a part of the community itself. In Bedford, Evansburg, and Pittston, the staff is actually a town employee. In others, it's a nonprofit partnership where there's an exchange. In others, there's a specific contract that is an expectation of what gets done. One example of that is in some of the communities, the downtown is responsible for the planters. They wanted to put in planters, so the downtown actually contracts out to make sure that they're well maintained. Places like Wilkes-Barre and State College in Erie, where it's a larger organization, they're an actual what's called a business improvement district, where they have an arrangement with the city through a business improvement district to provide services like street cleaning and ambassadorship in the city. So there's a full range, but they're all done in the auspices and support of the organization in the city. These organizations thrive best when they are supported by the city in kind, in trade, in finance. There's a variety of ways. And I'm not here to tell you what, and again, just like I said before, it's never our job to tell you guys how to run your town or what you should become. So I'm never going to give you a number. But I'm going to tell you that the number should be based on the value that you're getting, the services contract that you may establish, and what your expectations are. And I think that's a conversation for not necessarily a public session, but for you guys to really work out, hammer that out. There was some question about a program through the community, through DCD called designation. And designation is a state program that DuBois has been in the past, and it ended, and it has sort of is really exploring again. Designation is a specific application through DCED. It allows the organization to, we like to say, get its house in order. It makes the organization reevaluate where it is, where its place in the community is, and what its goals and strategies are. It sets out a specific 5-year strategy and implements it over that course of that time. That's the organization side. The DCED side allows you to access different levels of funds from the state that are only accessible to designated main streets that we put that directly back in the community. Things like the facade grant program that you guys are currently running through the Main Street program that puts money back in the program. That is run through Main Streets. Very few municipalities run it. Very few REAs run it. It's almost largely run through a Main Street or a similar organization. There is planning grant money. There's implementation grant money available specifically designated for Main Streets. That is, if a specific project you want to do, there is DCD money just for that nonprofit. There is LSA money that's available, so local share money, which is casino money, which can only be directed at a nonprofit doing community work. There is things called like the Neighborhood Assistance Program, which is an NAP program, is what it's called through DCD. NAP is a tax incentive program that allows you to get money from a large major employer. Instead of that money going to Harrisburg, that money gets invested locally back to the community towards community benefit. Main Streets run those programs. But the one that I think that I sort of want to make sure that we cover today is, it's right in my head when I said NEP, but through designation, there's one called the Keystone Opportunity Zone Enterprise Zone. If you're a designated community, this is without outside investment, this is without it costing the city anything. If you go through this process and support the Main Street organization and they become designated, if the footprint that you guys designate, it's not, and I should say, when we do these programs, it's not the entire town, it's not the entire city. It's always a specific footprint that we say, this is where your downtown core is. And there's a little bit here and a little bit there, but we want to, it's not the entire, it's where your concentration is. If you're designated in that community, you become an enterprise zone. And that means that any investor that wants to come and work in that property can then apply for a 25% tax credit on their building that comes out of Harrisburg's money. Does not come out of DuBois, does not come out of the county. It comes out of, it's a tax incentive for people that, say you guys have the property that's downtown, it's the old beauty school. The property needs work. I think I'm telling you tales that that's a property that could use some love. Somebody wants to come and invest in that, and it's going to cost them $4 million. Well, I just gave them $1 million back. It's a real incentive to bring people to invest in your community. And that's part of designation, and that's through the Main Street program. I really would encourage you to work with Shirley, work with the committee and the organization, find whatever the common ground is. I desperately hope that you read these other letters. Included in all of those letters is the contact information for either the borough council president, the town manager, or the mayor. So if you guys want to reach out to them, they've been told that you may call them. So if you have questions about it, please reach out to them directly. My information is on the letter that I sent out earlier this week. We are a resource that is here for all of our communities that are members, to support them, to find them what they need. You guys have questions for me about what Main Street is and what the value we think that it brings this community is?
I have a couple of questions. The first year, the city decides to help. Once they get designated, is there state funds? Because I was involved with the first time they got designated, and there were funds to run that.
To that point, we described those as the Eddie Rendell days. There was a $38 million budget for Keystone Communities at that time. Your state legislature has taken that down to 6. So operational funds went away.
Okay.
What's currently available is what is competitive funds through planning, facades, public space investiture, NEP, and the LSA. So there is money, but it's not. But almost none of that is directly for operational costs.
Okay.
For that purpose, we rely on partnerships with the municipality, the county. I'll be in Clarion tomorrow. There's a county partnership there with their economic development office there.
And businesses could contribute as well.
100% business contribute. One of the great opportunities once the Main Street is running and it has municipal support, with municipal support, it can apply for this NAP program. NAP, again, says, in very brief, you have a big employer here. Sometimes it's a hospital, sometimes it's a major factory. They're paying $100,000 to Harrisburg in taxes, not in their business taxes. You approach them, develop a partnership with them, and say, all right, you're going to donate to us $25,000 to operate our downtown. I'll give you a great example. Geisinger is one. Geisinger in Danville understands that the value of the town of Danville reflects on whether people want to work at Geisinger out in the middle of Pennsylvania at the state hospital. They know that they want the downtown to be good. So they invest a certain amount of money. They're going to give you $100,000 total, but they're going to get $75,000 back in state tax credits. And they're going to take that other $25,000 and utilize that as a charitable contribution. So it becomes a very, very mutually beneficial funding mechanism. Main Streets can do that. They can only do that when they're supported by their union. You can't do it on your own. It's very difficult. But yeah, also there are a lot of businesses just in-kind support. You'll find in your letter there's a note in there from the City of Erie. City of Erie gives its operation $50,000, which is a nice chunk of change. But I will note in there that the Main Street manager there let me know that in addition to that, and it's not a dig, but just letting you know, the mayor actually contributes on the side because they believe in it as well. So that's not a dig.
Does the mayor get paid good up there?
I would imagine.
Okay.
My point is that there's a variety of funding sources. We strongly recommend and strategize that there should be a real diverse set of funding. We definitely don't say that you should get all your money just from the municipality, because as you guys well know, change of personalities, that funding could disappear overnight. But we definitely say that there's a level of support and a level of investiture that the municipality has to make, because you guys are the ones that it's going to reflect on. The people that are running the Main Street are doing a lot of good work that a lot of our towns do not have the resource to put somebody in front of. The main thing that I can tell you is, and we did a whole economic development study post-pandemic, the Pennsylvania Downtown Center, the whole post-pandemic study, and we found that our main streets, that our towns that had main streets, all fared significantly better because they had someone that was looking out for the business community, for the residential community, and the downtown community when no one else could. Our municipal servants that were in the middle of it were trying to just make sure the streets and the cities ran. But the businesses themselves needed someone to reach out to figure out how to get loans, how to get grants, how to stay afloat. And invariably, and I can happy to provide that study, over and over again, the folks that had that person in place, that person that was whose sole job it was to make things were working downtown, thrived. And they had fewer closures during the pandemic. They had more. I've got 3 businesses that opened more businesses post-pandemic than they had in the 5 years before. And that's an extraordinary story. I am more than happy to come do a whole session with you guys and tell you all about the benefits of this. I just wanted to come here to speak on their behalf, tell you that there's a bounty of positives, there's very few negatives to your support. Other questions you guys might have?
What kind of permanent changes could we expect?
Well, that's up to you and them.
Okay.
What are you looking for? What's your question? Because that's
I would want to see something that you walk down the street and you can see it.
So,
not just just an event.
So, to that end, let me speak that in 2 ways. Number one, I'm a very tactical person and really believe in that. I can tell you that since my last visit here, I've seen 2 major improvements in your downtown that Shirley instigated since I was here at our suggestion because she thought it was a good idea. She got the aforementioned beauty salons windows cleaned out and painted, and it doesn't look like an eyesore like it did last time I was here. Now that's not permanent, but it is visible. I could see it as soon as I walk downtown. Same goes for the candy store next door. That's 2 things that you guys did deliberately at a suggestion. I came through town about 6 months ago, October, something like that, and I said, well, and they said, well, what do you see? I was like, I see that right across from the busiest restaurant downtown is a dark eyesore with trash in front of it, and it's dark. And she cleaned it out, and she got paint on those windows, and then actually when you approach it out, it's vacant, sure, but it's not an eyesore. There are things that, but when you say what sort of change you want, it's sort of like, people say, I want our town to be a great place to live, work, and shop. And my mantra is, if that's what's on your slogan, I'm going to punch you in the neck.
It's too much.
Because you can do better. You can do better than that. You can be, we are this, and we're going to grow this. So one of the strategic plans that we talk about really implementing, when we talk about the 5-year strategy of designation, it's called a transformation strategy. And it's something we talked about in the strategic session. We
You
talked
guys
about,
have that done yet?
no, but they just started. We did a what's called a SWOT analysis, where we just sort of figured out what's here and what needs to happen. And again, the organization is, I want to say that it's not in transition, but I think that it's emerging again. I think it was in the chrysalis stage. I think for a while it was sort of in the cocoon, and I think now it's re-emerging. So it's going to take a little while. I think so. But what it is about finding the thing that you want to become. Clearfield is going through the process. They're looking at exploiting their outdoor economy. They've got a really nice river that runs through town. They've built up that beautiful riverfront thing. They know that there's hunting and fishermen there. If you guys don't know, that someone is going to reopen the sporting goods supply shop down there that they lost. It went away, but Bob's is coming back.
Bob's coming back.
It's already open. Yeah, I knew it was coming. I haven't been in town. I'm going there Wednesday. Anyway, but they know that that's an economy they want to grow. So they've just decided to look at that and say, okay, how are we going to take this mustard seed and grow that out? So for you guys to be about what is the permanent change you want to see. One of the biggest permanent changes is getting money for facades. Getting money to fix the buildings you actually have and incentivizing those people to do that. And that is a DCD fund that's run through Main Street. It's a matching grant between $5,000 and $10,000 to put some lipstick on the pig. One of the best examples of that, I would love to send you a picture of this, I'd be happy to. I've got one in Gettysburg that they just finished. And this is downtown Gettysburg, all the nice properties there. And the shingles were falling off, and it was old, it was busted. They finally convinced this guy, and it's beautiful now. It's a total transformation in the heart of their downtown. What we find really is that you get two or three of those on a block, and other people start doing them. It becomes a little bit of a little guilt, little peer pressure. But like, if you're the last one on the block and the money's there, it really incentivizes people to do it. So that's a big shift and change. There is money available for things like through implementation to do specific things. The implementation grant is $50,000. You do a lot with 50 in a tactical way. Some people put it in the murals, some people put it in trash. Bedford is putting it into a downtown sound system so that when they have all their numerous events, they have a citywide emergency system and sound system so that if there's an emergency, they can send out a blast to everybody. I'm looking at the officer back there. That how valuable would it be when you have 2,000 people in town to have a district-wide sound system? That's a permanent change. City of Pittston puts a lot of their work into mural art and transforming it. If you go to downtown Pittston, you get a sense that this is a creative community. There is murals and street art and public sculpture all everywhere. So like you get a sense of what it is. So depending on what it is you're trying to fix, I can tell you that Main Street doesn't do sidewalks, usually. They can help with PennDOT and get you curb cuts though, and get you some traffic calming. I was up in Sayre, if you can believe that. You guys know where Sayre is?
Yes.
It's the end. Sayre, through their Main Street program, got a PennDOT grant. It was a PennDOT or is LSA, I forget which, but it was about $1.5 million to put traffic calming in, put some curb cuts in, to put new crosswalks in, to really do a transformation in the town. So there are a number of things that you can do and you can apply for through the Main Street program that, again, as a municipality, you have some stuff you can apply for. Local share is something you guys can apply for as a municipality. That's the casino money. That's something you guys can do. But sometimes you need a nonprofit partnership to funnel it through. I know I'm doing well when council's shaking his head. He's nodding along, I think it's good. Other questions?
Yeah, your budget's about 147?
104,000.
104, she says.
Yeah, 104, I think.
Well, it was I think it was 154 with the DCED money, the 50,000. So your budget's $104,000, and you're asking $40,000 from that's 40%. which is not in our budget this year, okay? And I noticed that you only have about $5,000 in corporate buy-in. That seems awful low.
That varies.
Okay, but I mean, that
Varies
seems,
for,
it just seems very low to me, that that's all you could get from the community for the downtown.
I think that, I'm not going to answer that because it's not my place.
I understand.
What I will say is that from our perspective, we definitely tell people to strategize for having a diverse and sort of well-balanced mix, just as you would want for any organization. And I think that's something that you guys could work out semantics with.
I mean, I believe in the downtown
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. But finding a balance of what you guys can fund
Right.
and what you can afford. I can tell you that the investment is well worth it. If you look at if you talk to some of the other towns, the return is definitely, your ROI is going to be much higher than it is in anything else. And you're going to get a long-term benefit. You're going to get an impactful person who is there to sort of make sure that things are done well.
Is that trackable?
Yes,
You know,
actually.
goals and trackable and
Yes,
everything?
absolutely.
Okay.
I'm again on a non-public night. I'm happy to come up and give you guys the full Monty about how we do strategy and what it looks like and how we make it trackable. One of the things that we do at the Pennsylvania Downtown Center is we do reinvestment statistics for the entire state. So if you are a downtown community and you're getting state funds, or if you're getting funds from this, we actually plug that back in and we can show what the model is across the state as far as what the return on investment is.
Okay.
It's usually between 3 and 5 to 1. So, other questions from council? Happy to stick around if you guys would like me to.
Thank you.
If you'd like, I may go outside for a few minutes, but I'm happy to stick around afterwards if anyone has questions off the books.
Thank you.
Yep.
Resolution of condolence, John Jack Dugan Jr. Can you read that? Yes, please. Do I have to read the whereas? Yes, please. Man. Whereas the city of DuBois was saddened to learn the death of our former councilman and exemplary citizen, John Jack Dugan Jr. on February 23rd, 2024. Whereas John Jack Dugan Jr. served as councilman in 1995 and as a member of the Watershed Committee for 25 years from May 1998 until the time of his death. Filling these important positions with distinction and advantages to the taxpayer of the city of DuBois, always conspicuous and to the highest degree in this position of trust and moved only to the best interests of his fellow citizens. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the governing body of the council assembled this 11th day of March 2024 that expresses its deepest regret and sorrow at the loss of John Dugan Jr. and hereby officially extend an expression of profound sympathy to his family on their personal loss. Furthermore, be it resolved that this resolution be spread upon the minutes of this meeting and that a copy therefore be forwarded to the family of John Jack Dugan Jr. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and the city council of the city of DuBois, Pennsylvania hereby certify that the foregoing is true and correct copy of the resolution duly adopted by the majority vote of city council at the regular meeting held on March 11, 2024. And said resolution has been recorded in the minutes of the city council and remains in effect to this date. In witness thereof, we set our hands and cause the official seal of the city of DuBois, Pennsylvania to be affixed this 11th day of March 2025, and it's signed by myself and all councilmen and attested to by Corby. Thank you. Council's wishes? Need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Properly moved second. Vote on the motion?
Gelfen.
Yes.
Dietz.
Yes.
Augenbaum.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Reesinger.
Yes. I do want to mention something about our meetings. They're going to be run a little bit different. The first meeting of the month is pretty much we're going to discuss things. There are certain things that are going to come up that we will need to vote on, but as a rule, we won't be voting on the first meeting of the month. It'll be discussion. That'll give you guys 2 weeks to come up with questions. Call me, call anybody, send an email to and then the second meeting will be where we'll be voting most of the votes. Yes.
Bills? You're gonna vote on
Yes,
the
Bill,
second
that's one of the important things. Yes.
All right.
Look who cares about that. They would be calling you, wouldn't they? Okay, so let's go ahead with our old business, consideration of council bills from 2023.
Yeah, in your packet, you'll have a revised Council Bill 1975, registration of rental units. We'll post that on the website as well. If you guys could give us some input on that, that'll start our discussion for bringing that one back. We haven't had any comments on the automobile repair facility, Council Bill 1976. That one primarily was to fill in some voids that were left when the original ordinance was enacted. So we put in some new distances that were missing on that one. And then I believe you have in your packet that we'll put on the website as well for comment is update on a mechanical amusement device, Council Bill 1977. Tom, I don't know if you have any input on that. I know you drafted that for them to review.
We've shared an initial rewrite of the amusement tax ordinance. There's still some revisions that need to occur, but that'll be on next 2 weeks from now for a first reading. A lot of that has to deal with the quote-unquote games of skill.
Yep. So we'll get those up for everybody to comment on, and we'll have that first reading at the next meeting.
First reading of Council Bill 1982, Amendment to Sewer Use Ordinance.
Yeah, this is one of the few items tonight that we would like action on. This is an ordinance of the City of DuBois amending Chapter 340, Article 5, Section 340-43.2 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of DuBois to update the maximum allowable loading limits of the industrial sewer use regulations. Please vote on that, yes.
Council wishes?
Make a motion to approve the first reading of Council Bill number 1982, amend industrial sewer use ordinance.
Second.
Properly moved in second. Question on the motion? Vote on the motion.
Gelfen.
Yes.
Dietz.
Yes.
Augenbaugh.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Reesinger.
Yes. Resolution number 2024-0378 to remove John Simplesio from all positions of employment. Tom, could you answer that question about his pension?
I'll answer yes. Before I get to that, this is the step in the process the council needs to go through. This is not terminating the former city manager's employment. This is the process. This resolution puts him on notice that after 30 days, council can't consider the termination of his employment. Gives him an opportunity to request a hearing in front of council if he wishes to so request. With respect to the pension, that issue we're taking a look at. Although there have been criminal charges filed, there has been no resolution of those criminal charges. The resolution of those criminal charges will either impact or not impact his entitlement to his pension. There is still in place a permanent injunction prohibiting the city from making any further payments, including pension payments, to the former city manager. So that order will stay in place regardless of any action with respect to his employment from the city. The court would have to entertain some kind of action to amend or rescind that order.
Yeah, that. Motion on this?
Need a motion.
Yeah, need a motion.
I make a motion, resolution number 2024-0378 to remove John Simplesio from all positions of employment.
Second.
Properly moved in second. Questions on the motion? Anybody have any comments? Vote on the motion.
Gelfen.
Yes.
Dietz.
No.
Augenbaugh.
No.
Jackson.
Yes.
Reesinger.
Yes. Redevelopment Authority Cooperation Agreement.
Yeah, in your packet, for you to review for approval at the next meeting is the annual agreement we have cooperation with the Redevelopment Authority.
Request authorization to bid 2024 pavement markings.
Yep, I'll have this formal recommendation request at the next meeting. This is our annual street paving, or street pavement marking. We're gonna do this in cooperation with Sandy Township this year. So we'll have that request at the next meeting.
Request authorization to bid 2024 chemicals.
Yep, again, at the next meeting, we'll request authorization. This is our chemicals for our water plant, sewer plant, and swimming pool. It sets the annual price for us.
Will all these be on the website that somebody could look at them and
Yep.
ask questions? So all this stuff that we're going at now, we're gonna vote on it in 2 weeks. You have 2 weeks to look at it and ask questions, either at the meeting or before that. Okay. Recommendation to award West Washington Avenue water line construction contract.
Yeah, we had a bid opening on Friday for the West Washington Avenue water line. That's the new water line from Brady Street to, a replacement water line from Brady Street to George Street, and then on High Street from Washington to Weber. We'll have a recommendation at the next meeting after doing all the proper research on the bid and documents.
And that was a public opening, is that
It was a
correct?
public bid opening.
Those are always public and anybody can come to them?
Yep.
Okay. A recommendation to award 2023 audit to Wessel and Company for $36,500. This
Yep.
is our general annual audit that we'll have done.
Correct. This is a new company, one we have not used before.
And this is one we'd like to vote on tonight.
Yes.
So can I have a
If we
motion?
could, please.
Yep, I'd like to make a motion, we award the contract for 2023 audit to Wessel and Company in the amount of $36,500.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Questions on the motion? Vote on the motion.
Gelfen.
Yes.
Dietz.
Yes.
Augenbaum.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Reesinger.
Yes. Number 17, zoning committee.
Yeah, this is to let you know that we're going to commission the zoning committee. Attorney Brett here will go through and find out what we need to do to update our ordinances to reactivate that committee. Then we will be coming out and asking for volunteers to serve on that committee again.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple committees that we're going to need volunteers for, not just this one. So think about it. Again, you can call the office and put your name in.
All the committees, boards, commissions are listed on the website if you want to volunteer for any of them. info@duboispa.gov, but we will make a special announcement as we reactivate some of these committees.
Just for clarification, Mayor, that's the zoning hearing board.
Zoning hearing board.
Reconstituting the zoning hearing board. We will revise the ordinances to the extent that they've been revised to remove the zoning hearing board. The zoning hearing board will be an independent board with its own legal counsel.
There's also going to be an appeal committee, is that correct? No. No, okay, there you go. Resolution number 2024-0379, authorizing the approval of issuance of debt with Sandy Township in the form of a Section 108 loan.
Yeah, this is the, we discussed this, I think, at the last couple meetings and at the joint board meeting. This is Sandy Township's commitment to use their CDBG funds. It was authorized by the joint board in March of 2022. It needs to be authorized at Sandy Township, which they've done, and by this board as well. We've given you some draft resolution for you to review, and it will be presented for approval at the next meeting. And this is for the Platte Road sewer project. Platte Road out there by Morningside Cemetery, going back to
Police barracks.
the police
State police
barracks and the church.
This one we'd like a motion on tonight also.
No. I'm sorry. I tried.
Oh, you had that marked.
It'll be for the next meeting.
Mr. Mayor, you'll recall this This item was on the agenda at your last meeting. You approved an agreement. Since then, they've sent a resolution in that they also would like to have approved. So I've sent council a revised resolution for your consideration.
Okay. Public comments? Yes.
Debbie Meckling, DuBois. I find it appalling that we did not have a unanimous vote to start the process of terminating our former city manager. And Mr. Achenbaugh and Mr. Dietz, they sat here on the old council. And if they did not know what was going on during the council meetings, they should have. And I just think this is a slap in the face to the taxpayers of our city that it was not a unanimous vote. It should have been unanimous to start the process.
Yeah, go ahead. Hi.
Paul Swope, DuBois. I just got a quick one. Did I hear Mr. Breck say correctly that we didn't know if the pension was part of this or not? Like, we don't know if we have to pay him out yet? Did I hear that part right? Or no?
No, I believe my comments were that the outcome of the criminal charges against the former manager would be determined of.
So right now, we don't know if we have to pay him or not, is that correct?
Well, no, there's court order in place right now that prohibits the city from paying out his pension.
So, I mean, so if we terminate him, we don't have to pay his pension then?
Unless the judge lifts that court order, he's
Okay,
not
that's all I
entitled to
wanted
his
to make
pension.
sure.
There's a court order saying we can't.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure those.
Yeah.
Shane and Jim, why did you vote no?
Briefly, make comments to council.
Yeah, it's a comment section.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't stop you from answering those, but. Yes, please.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to offer, I know you said you were discussing games of skill and sort of dealing with that. It's one of the topics we're actually tackling at a statewide level.
Yes.
Next week, we're having an open session with all of our managers. We're probably going to invite a handful of municipalities that are asking those questions, try to how to resolve that. It's one of the values that the network of Main Street sort of provides. Your problem and the concerns of having skill games in your towns is universal across the state. It's definitely a horses out of the barn issue. So I would invite anyone on council, and I'll make sure that Shirley has information. We've invited a couple of the legislators that are working on it. It's a listening session, an opportunity to sort of, hey, what are your ideas? How are we going to solve this? How are we going to resolve? How are we going to get this horse back in the barn? So again, it's a value that we try to offer as our large organization that you guys can have to them. And then if anyone's interested, please reach out to Shirley, and I'll make sure that you guys get the link to be able to listen in.
Yeah, and it's on the state's mind also. After the state's on leave for I think 2 more weeks. When they get back, they're going to do the budget. Games of skill are probably going to be after that, from what I understand.
Yeah. It's how they're going to regulate it, but it's also how. And again, forgive me, but we're finding in our communities that have vacancy, that have opportunities, even that don't, they're being filled in certain businesses, and it's. In some places it's perfectly fine, other places it's sort of totally unregulated, and we're finding that it's going to be up to the actual municipalities to do a lot of the hands-on regulation about how it can be run in the town. The state's going to try to figure out how to back in, how to retax them and make sure that the funds are actually going somewhere. So they're essentially arcades right now that make a lot more money than an arcade does. In fact, I literally got off the phone with someone in Monongahela today where he's got 4 of them in a vacant store where they had a vending machine that served booze. And that was it. There's four machines and a vending machine you could buy beer from, and nobody in the building. So it's there's a wild west. Anyway, it's an opportunity for you guys.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Just one other quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
Let's see, how can I put this? Is there, I think you need to review to see of any employees that have I know we've terminated the health and care insurance here of city officials. But is there in any case that people that have retired from the city of DuBois, are they getting some health care insurance coverage where other ones are not getting it? I think there's a thing that you need to really look at. I think there are certain people that are possibly getting insurance, healthcare insurance, and they retired from the city of DuBois.
There are, yes.
And was that an agreement with just Hermes Plesio?
I don't know that.
I mean, shouldn't that be given to everyone or
no one?
or no one?
Ron, there was a lot of stuff done.
Just so we don't, so that if individuals know of folks that are receiving them, then we're not speaking ill of them out of course. There are collective bargaining agreements and other agreements that may provide for post-health care or post-employment health care. So I don't want anybody to think that if their neighbor's getting.
No, I'm just asking because I know in the past there was never given to healthcare coverage to people that retired.
I appreciate that. I just don't. Okay. There may be an appropriate mechanism under which former employees, retirees could receive. I don't know if that's the case here, but we'll certainly take a look at it.
Anybody else? Okay. Comments?
I just want to comment on the recent comments about the attempted abduction that happened on February 23rd. Just to let everybody know, the female that reported that to our station has been arrested for false reports to law enforcement. And just to let everybody know, every victim is believed. When you come in, you are believed. And the only way it comes to this point is when, during our investigation, we actually find proof and are able to prove that you gave a false report.
Joe? Joe? Nothing?
No, taxes are going well.
Pay your taxes, we got bills.
And the Treasury Department's been really busy. Everybody's been really great, and they're paying their taxes, so we're doing well.
David?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Jim?
I'm good, thanks.
What would I like to say? It was a great executive session. I think we're getting a lot of things accomplished. It's a work in progress. Thank you, Tom, and everyone up here. And better days are ahead.
I have one on redevelopment. Redevelopment is a public meeting, it's open. You know, again, it's easy to second guess. Go to the meetings. They're open. That's the way you find out what's going on there. The same thing with, on your agenda, if you got a copy of the agenda, there's all the city meetings. They're all open. If you're serious about finding out what those people are doing, rather than just ask questions after the decision's made, be there when the decision is made. And they'll listen to you, and you put some input at the time. Okay?
I have nothing.
Elliot?
And just further on redevelopment, it's an authority which is kind of autonomous from the council. They operate on their own and have their own director and solicitor. So, like Pat said, if you want to know what they're doing, you're going to have to ask them.
Yeah, and there were several people that were interested in that building, and I just showed it 20 times, Zach, 20 times, and 19 people went in and said, "What are you, crazy?" And one person stood up and said, "Okay." So, I mean, there were a lot of people looked at it, and everybody had a chance. They didn't pick, they took the best deal they had. That's just how it works. Go ahead.
No, sir.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
No questions on the motion? Roll call.
Gelfen.
Yes.
Beach.
Yes.
Augenbaum.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Reesinger.
Yes.